The email came in at 0217 Kandahar time while I was sitting on an ammo crate outside the TOC, boots still dusty, helmet on the ground beside me. The desert was quiet in that unnatural way it gets before dawn, like it was holding its breath. The subject line said, "We need to move forward." No greeting, no explanation, just a PDF attachment and 3 sentences informing me that my wife, Claire, had filed for divorce, emptied our joint accounts, and needed space to start the next chapter of her life. 14 years of marriage reduced to a file that didn't even need a progress bar to download. I read it twice, closed my laptop, finished my coffee. When you've been in long enough, you learn the difference between panic and clarity. This wasn't panic, this was confirmation. My name is Evan Cole. I was 41 years old at the time. Staff sergeant, logistics, airborne. 5 months into a deployment that was supposed to be my second to last before retirement. I'd left from Fort Liberty in North Carolina believing my house was safe, my accounts was stable, and my marriage, if not perfect, was at least real. I replied to her email with one word: received. No anger, no questions. That wasn't the moment for any of that. Back at the hooch, my bunkmate Rivers glanced up from his phone and asked if I was good. I said yeah, just stuff back home. He nodded and didn't ask anything else. Men who live this life know when to stop talking. Claire and I met years earlier in Savannah when I was between rotations. She worked in medical billing, the kind of person who color-coded calendars and never missed a deadline. I liked that she was organized. She liked that I was steady. We married fast, bought a modest house near base, 3 bedrooms, quiet street, VA loan in my name. I added her to the deed because I believed marriage meant shared risk. The first few deployments were hard but survivable. Then something shifted. Calls got shorter, messages came later. She stopped asking when I'd be home and started talking about people from work, especially a guy named Derek. She said he was helping her understand investments, helping her feel more confident about money. I didn't argue, I didn't check her phone, but I did what my father taught me to do when things felt off. I prepared. 6 months before deploying, I moved my important documents into a storage unit across town. Birth certificate, titles, my dad's watch, my mom's jewelry. I opened a separate account at a different bank and diverted part of my pay there. Not enough to raise suspicion, just enough so I wouldn't be standing in ashes if the fire came. The night before I deployed, Claire hugged me at the airport and told me to be safe. Her eyes were dry. She felt like someone saying goodbye to a coworker, not a husband heading to a war zone. I noticed it. I didn't say anything. 2 weeks after the divorce email, my phone buzzed during chow. Bank alert. Withdrawal. $92,000. I stared at the screen until the number made sense. The joint account balance was down to $18 and some change. The savings account we'd built for over a decade was gone. That night, I called the bank from the secure phone center. Claire had been moving money for months. Small transfers at first, bigger ones after I deployed. I hung up and stood in the hallway watching other guys laugh, complain, talk to their kids on video calls. That was the moment grief turned into focus. I logged into our home security system, something she'd forgotten I could still access. The footage showed a man I didn't recognize walking my dog, drinking from my mug, wearing my jacket. Derek, comfortable, familiar, inside my house. I shut the laptop and pulled out a notebook. I didn't write feelings, I wrote tasks. Call Mason, review loan documents, lock down pension access, check power of attorney, request emergency leave quietly. This wasn't emotional anymore, it was procedural. I came back stateside 2 months later and didn't tell anyone. Rented a car, checked into a motel off the highway under my middle name. Mason met me at a diner an hour outside town and slid a folder across the table. He tried to refinance the house, he said. I flipped through the paperwork. My signature was there. Close, but wrong. The stroke order was off. The middle initial wasn't mine. I said, "She forged it." Mason nodded, pulled out $310,000 in equity. Half the money's already gone. Who co-signed? He topped the page, Derek Lowell. That was the first time I felt anything like satisfaction. We moved fast and clean. Police report, bank fraud affidavit, VA loan violation notice. The refinance was frozen within 48 hours. Derek made his own mistake not long after. He got pulled over driving my truck on a suspended license. Inside the vehicle, police found prescription pads from Claire's office. That pushed it beyond me. Federal investigators stepped in when Mason flagged the pattern. Derek wasn't new at this. He targeted military spouses, convinced them their husbands were hiding money, pushed refinances, quick sales, cash buyers. Claire wasn't special. She was useful. I watched it all unfold from across the street using my own security cameras. Agents walked Derek out in cuffs. Claire stood on the lawn with her hands over her mouth like she'd just woken up inside someone else's life. I didn't feel joy. I felt finished. The case moved quickly after that. Derek took 8 years. His partner took 12. Claire signed a confession, forfeited all claims to the house and my pension. I didn't press charges against her, not out of mercy, out of efficiency. A year later, I sold the house, bought a small cabin in the mountains, quiet land, running water, no neighbors. I retired at 20 years, got a dog, named him Atlas. Sometimes I think about Claire, not with anger, not with longing, just distance. She made her choices, and I made mine. Revenge doesn't scream. It doesn't rush. It waits until the paperwork catches up. And it always does.